Прекрасная работа, научник оператор. С первой дорожки управления. Ну что, друзья, вот я открываю.
The BMP-3 is one of the more modern infantry fighting vehicles and is currently serving in the Russian army and some other foreign militaries. It's the successor of the BMP-2 and is better in many ways. It has more firepower, more advanced fire control systems, very good frontal armor for an IFV, very good mobility, and is overall more or less comfortable, or well, at least as comfortable as a war machine can get. It has seen action in the Middle East and Europe, specifically in Yemen and Ukraine, and is known for doing its job quite well, mainly if the job involves creating widows and orphans faster than you can say collateral damage. It was in service in the Soviet army for a short period of time and was mass-produced from 1988 to 1991. Only 250 BMP-3s were delivered to the Soviet army. Unlike many others, the history of the BMP-3 is very simple and straightforward. Nevertheless, it's worth looking into. So hello and welcome and enjoy this video. During the war in Afghanistan, the Soviets noticed several problems with the BMP-2. Apparently, getting blown to bits wasn't one of its strong suits. Therefore, the army requested a new IFV which addressed the BMP-2's shortcomings and was better overall. The reason why the BMP-2 needed replacement was because it was not possible to further modernize the BMP-2's armament without having to use completely new technologies or sacrificing already existing tactical characteristics such as the amphibious capability or other armor protection. The BMP-2 itself was already more or less a modernized version of the BMP-1 and was therefore also at its limits to some degree. Following two designs were made. One of them was the Object 688 prototype created by Kurgan Mashzavod. It used an adapted hull of the Object 685 amphibious light tank. But there was one problem. Even though this hull had very good potential to become an amphibious IFV, the dismounting for the infantry would have been a nightmare. To be fair, the dismounting on the BMP-3 is still pretty bad, but let's just hope the enemy takes a coffee break while you awkwardly fumble out of your piece of steel. To solve the issue, they had to raise the hull, change the shape of the front hull armor, change the turret ring construction, create space for the infantry and some other things as well. In other words, they basically had to overhaul the whole thing. The turret of the Object 688 was similar to the one of the Object 680, which was the prototype of the BMP-2. It was a very low-profile turret with a remotely controlled external weapons mount. This image shows the Object 688 prototype because seeing is believing and you will need to see this mess to truly appreciate the chaos of Soviet engineering. Now you might have seen in the picture before that the Object 688 had a lot of stuff mounted on the turret. And it's true. The Object 688 had a 2A41 cannon, a coaxial 30mm grenade launcher, 3 PKTM machine guns, and a pair of ready-to-fire Concours anti-tank missiles in an external armored pod similar to the M2 Bradley. If the Object 688 had entered service in the 1980s, it would have arguably been the most well-armed IFV in the world. And not gonna lie, this would have been a pretty cool vehicle. At least that's what my War Thunder brain tells me while I fantasize about digital destruction. However, this upgraded armament was not enough to justify the creation of a whole new IFV. And anyways, BMP-1s and BMP-2s could also be upgraded with grenade launchers and that was it then. Actually, there even were some BMPs with added low-velocity grenade launchers in Afghanistan because they worked pretty well against light infantry protected by terrain. Therefore, it was rejected because it had no real advantage over the BMP-2. Now, to upgrade the firepower of the new IFV, chief designer Arkady Chipunov developed the 2K23 armament complex. He designed the 2A71 and 2A70 cannons specifically for the new IFV. These two cannons were combined into a single common gun cradle together with the PKTM coaxial machine gun. Both cannons were designed to be very compact and low weight in order to fit in the turret the way he wanted it to. This new weaponry made the new Soviet IFV more unique and gave it an advantage over previous BMPs And basically, the BMP-3 combines the basic armament principles behind the BMP-1 and the BMP-2, creating a vehicle with the best of both worlds. I shamelessly stole that line from a comment on a previous video because originality is overrated. Anyways, this new armament was enough of a justification for a new combat vehicle to replace the previous BMPs. In January 1985, the BMP-3 underwent state tests. These tests were done in Kubinka, Smolin, Elaita, and Algozi. It passed the tests and was therefore accepted into service. Now, obviously and normal for pretty much every vehicle at this stage of development, there were some issues with it, which first had to be fixed. Later, the BMP-3 was accepted into service on 1st of September 1987 and entered low-rate serial production at the Kurgan Mashzavod factory for refinement and preparation for more tests in the future. These tests took place from March 1988 to March 1989. 10 BMP-3s from the Belarusian military district were integrated into a mechanized rifle company. They wanted to test how quickly soldiers could learn to work with the BMP-3 and from that estimate how much more effective it is over its predecessors. They also wanted to identify further problems which they could work on if necessary. The tests went well. For the Soviets, the BMP-3 had shown its superiority over the BMP-1 and the BMP-2 in terms of tactical and firepower characteristics. The BMP-3 was finally first shown to the world at the 45th Victory Day celebration on May 9, 1990 in Moscow. Later, the Soviet Union collapsed and the BMP-3 was mainly in the hands of the Russian army, like a child of a messy divorce clinging to one parent. Anyways, that was all I had to say for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you think I said anything that is not right or you think I should have added any additional information to this video, please let me know in the comments and share your knowledge. Besides that, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.
Tank! 10 o'clock! Here! The engine is burning! The transmission's damaged! Target damaged! Target destroyed!